because originally, it was meant to be called Cybertron, and Jason Dave Frank was meant to be the lead.
Yep.
I think maybe when they were gonna try that, it was gonna be more that way, and then they realized, oh, he's getting popular on Power Rangers. He's gonna go back to Power Rangers. Then they pivoted to VR Troopers, and I think that's why they probably done this whole weird like, okay, we need to kind of now make this about 3 people, but the 3 people do not really interact whatsoever.
Okay,
so,
but
and hi everyone, and welcome to another virtual reality episode of Trip Around the Multiverse with your host, the man who is looking for his father who disappeared and then comes back into his life and disappears again, Kyle Charles.
And the businessman who lets the forces of darkness empower me and take me back to my virtual reality, CY Chung.
And today we are diving deeper into the Saban universe in a way, and we're going to be talking about a planned spin-off of Power Rangers, which didn't really come to light and became its own thing to get cancelled for something else. The shortly lived VR Troopers, which ran from 1994 to 1996, got 2 seasons. Somehow got 96 episodes, which is baffling to me.
Well, we know how it is. They whatever's filmed in Japan, they just try and cut around it to and then put American footage in, and then bam, you've got your episode. So I have to say, so what intrigued me about watching this, I don't know how, by the way, when I said to you about it, right, you weren't exactly infused. No. So when you were saying about Power Rangers, you had more life in you, but VR Troopers, you're like,
VR Troopers was like, oh really? Okay. Don't get wrong.
When I read,
watch it when it came out, but
at least Power Rangers, right? What was being recorded, American and Japanese footage were about roughly in the same year kind of period.
Yeah.
This is 1994 footage combined with 1987 footage and then 1985 footage. Yeah. So season 2 had even older footage than season 1. I'm like, what? So you're going backwards in time?
Yeah, that's what I didn't like. Obviously, first watch it, I didn't notice any of that. Once I was watching, like, researching into this, like, that's a weird thing to do. Like, why would you?
Yeah, because they're so cheap.
Go back.
Okay, so what it is? By the way, I have to say the season 1.
Yeah.
Ryan Steele's season 1 suit, the Android Man suit, whatever it is, right? The Metal Hero series. Suit,
yeah.
Looked like it's something that is cybernetic, and fine. I get how you do VR, yeah.
Yeah.
But everything else, like, look at your enemies. How are they VR related?
Yeah, this is.
If you're gonna say the gold and black ninjas or whatever they are, the minions, they look like chipsets. Okay, fine, yeah. But when they turn into ninjas in season 2,
for no reason, not
other than because of the footage. But it's just like, I don't know. I don't even know why Grimlord is virtual reality related like that, looking the way he is. They could have just took the Metal Hero series and basically Ryan Steele gets in an accident, he gets rebuilt as a cyborg or something like that, and he's fighting whatever demonic entities from wherever. It's like, okay, at least that makes more sense than my father died, and then we get the what's the thing? Not the dude from Power Rangers, the head, the talking head.
Zordon. Horatio Hart? Yeah, Horatio Hart.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Just get a guy, okay, professor trapped in the computer, and then what is the rest of this about? Okay, whatever.
It was... Okay.
And then when they had the footage where they actually are, they probably should have had more footage where they were in the virtual reality middle chamber thing, whatever it is, because at least that then you can coordinate stuff to do it, and then you can say, oh yeah, it's VR, even though it isn't, right? I do like how they made the spandex costumes in the VR world that they were in similar to the Metal Hero suits.
Even though I found this out as well, they had just repainted Red Ranger helmets.
When
I saw the pictures, like, it is those cheap guys.
I'll tell you how cheap this series is, because not only do they use, I think they used that virtual reality chamber twice or 3 times or whatever, but they used the exact same footage because they do the exact same moves.
Yeah.
They just cut it slightly differently. And then they have to, because of whatever episode they're filming the footage for, they walk in the exact same like hallways or whatever it is, the American location scouts, right?
Yeah.
Just so they can then splice the footage in. But it's like sometimes the hotel or wherever it is, they don't look quite the same. And then somehow they always jump into a forest. Okay. Or the mountains. But what was one of the best things was anytime they have someone that's outside of the series that has to interact with the bad guys.
Yeah.
They're always Asian.
Yeah.
Like, it could be Korean or Japanese, but I think it was a Japanese businessman for one and a Japanese kid for another, right?
Yeah, you're like.
And they just we're just clothe you up the same as the exact people from the footage there, and there you go.
Yeah,
you know?
no one would tell. You're like.
I do have to say, the one time they did do something though, which I found, I was like, oh, okay, diversity. Because one of the bad guys is a light-skinned black guy, right?
Yeah.
And he's got paint across his face, like lightning strikes. You can't really see, but I'm like, all right, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, You try to get the skin tone similar, but I know like that really tan Japanese guy or not. But let's say, what was the other one is when they had the Egyptian lady, and then they had the actual her footage interacting with the VR troop, the web hero that her hair went from dark brown, to actually black, but then her skin also changed color slightly because that was a Japanese actress. I was like, okay, you know,
it's they try. There's anything I can say, they try.
There was one more thing as well. There was one more thing so at some point in the series, Kaitlin there's 2 of them. There's 2 of the female metal hero ladies, the VR trooper there, right? Yeah. But in the metal hero series, her sister gets powers as well. Because I was like, huh? Why they do this clone story? Like, why do you get this VR duplicate storyline of Kaitlin? Right? Is there a particular reason? I don't know. Oh, right, because they had to have it in the footage where there's 2 of the females. Yeah. However, in the Japanese one, it's the girl and her sister. Yeah. That's why there's 2 of them. But sense, so Kaitlin's digital VR double has a life of her. Look, you know how they do start off as antagonistic and then together, then and then she can bring her out whenever they need, so they can do connect double with fine, quite ingenious in some ways, right? But in other ways,
why? I mean, like, in other ways, why?
And that's why they had to damage Ryan's suit.
Oh yeah, so he can get a new one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then they used up all that footage. It's like, wow, okay. You're saying that you weren't really a fan of this series?
No, I gave it a chance. I did watch like both the 2 seasons. But it was just, even watching it back then, it kind of felt weird. Like, I went until I got older when I kind of realized about like empowerings with the footage and stuff like that. And I just thought, okay, that's just they use weird different cameras. That's why it looks different. Whatever. Didn't think anything of it. So I got a bit older, but VR Trooper straight away you could tell was like this is something not right. Like, why Ryan's character always go on his own, and then JB and Kaitlin will always be together, and something. I mean, things like, but this doesn't.
But I've got to say that's semi-ingenious, because if you're watching it, you don't really realize why they're never in the same footage.
Yeah. Unless
it's in America's footage where they're wearing the suits because they can be together on screen. Yeah. But then you they're like, oh, conveniently, you guys over here, or you over here, and I'm over here because. The original footage, we are not even from the same series.
Yeah, but that's just weird. Like as like a creator, why would you think, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's use 2 different shows completely and merge them into one show. And
exactly, that's when you watch out. That's why I was like, not that I wanted to watch it to see you suffer, but I was like, I gotta watch this because I want to know how they what raw nerve do they have?
Yeah.
You know?
It just doesn't make any.
And to be fair, they kind of pulled it off in certain ways. Yeah, like, you know what? It's fine. I mean, it's not super serious anyways, so that's not much of an issue. But when you think, oh, you know what? Okay, fair dues, you did it. It's the same that kids ain't gonna think, all right, you know, why is this one?
Like me.
But yes, like you're saying from the very beginning, every episode, Ryan Steele, they show the beginning of him training with his dad in wherever they are, San Francisco, wherever it is, the Padoga, right?
Coast World It's some Crossworld. The name of where they live is stupid, but yeah.
Was it Crossworld City, like you said?
Yeah, Crossworld City is like that. Doesn't make any sense.
And then at the end of the episode, he's like looking forlornly on this motorcycle. Sometimes without his jacket, with his jacket, just looking at the wherever it is where he was training with his dad, going, "Yeah, the lesson that was learned today was blah 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 blah." I'm like, all right,
Sure, whatever. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. And then even when he does find his dad through a couple of episodes, and then he's still talking. His dad disappears, and then by the way, the ingenious way of how they writ his dad. This series, right? It's quite fascinating because I was like, let me see what the original Japanese stuff is about, so I can work out why they did certain things.
Yeah. Well, did you find out why? Is it
more insane? The reason that they wrote his dad as being one of the enemies is because that enemy crosses over with the Metal Hero, yeah?
Yeah.
And he turns good. But they had to have his... They were like, all right, well, how do we write around this footage to make them make sense? You didn't really need to do it the way you did, like his dad was possessed by Grimlord or whatever had to be one of the back. Because then there was another duplicate of him.
Yeah.
The fake Topanga, whatever it was, right? With the sniper rifle and stuff like that. And it's yeah. I don't know why they just didn't get the original Japanese story and just kind of like did this right in a similar vein.
Yeah, it would have made more sense.
Yeah. Because then, at least then, that's already broadcast, and you know what you have to get from A to B in the episode.
Yeah, exactly.
There's probably some logistics or whatever it is, the certain things they can't. But then it's just like, what? You're making so much of a mess, so much effort talking around it or working around it. Just do what they do your bit that you need to do, and then transport them over to wherever they need to do. Because
I could be wrong.
Yeah,
but I think that I might be not skipping, but something we'll talk about it later. But no, because originally, it was meant to be called Cybertron, and Jason Dave Frank was meant to be the lead.
Yeah.
I think maybe when they were gonna try that, it was gonna be more that way, and then they realized, oh, he's getting popular on Power Rangers. He's gonna go back to Power Rangers. Then they pivoted to VR Troopers, and I think that's why they probably done this whole weird okay, we need to kind of now make this about 3 people, but the 3 people do not really interact whatsoever.
Okay, but let me actually. It's funny because you're going to something else, but let me say first, because I've got a side joke that I'll say just because you brought up that, right?
Yeah.
But I did watch the original 10 minutes Cybertron Lost Pilot, whatever it was. In fact, I watched the original Power Rangers pilot as well, so we could chat about that in a bit as well, right?
Yeah.
But when you're saying, so what they did was get one Jason David Frank,
yeah,
and they swapped him for 3 unnamed not the unnamed derivatives. They just the cost of one David Jason Frank was the cost of 3 other people, right?
Probably.
Just when Triple H got swapped to Raw.
Oh yeah, for Booker T and the Dudleys. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, okay.
Yeah. Well, they probably paid him. They were $100 going to pay him. They probably split that into 3 ways to pay them. So yeah,
Yeah. Exactly.
We're still winning. We still got $10, but yeah.
Actually, I think the pilot was slightly better in the sense that the karate teacher, he knew. In fact, he was a guy who was like, your dad was blah blah blah.
Yeah, he was like his guardian or something, isn't it?
Yeah. Here's the Cybertron suit that your dad came up with to fight these weather people. They are. Yeah, I don't think they're quite VR demons or whatever they were.
Yeah,
they hadn't got that far yet probably, or they were like, Cybertron can just be a suit.
Yeah,
like the Iron Man suit, right?
Yeah.
And then you're fighting supernatural beings, which I get, okay, because not even they did that with Iron Man when the Mandarin never came with his power rings.
Yeah.
Science versus magic, I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Did you didn't check out the Cybertron pilot?
No, I forgot to, but I saw pictures from it. Like, oh, okay.
It's just instead of Ryan Steele, who's Brad Hawkins.
Yeah.
Instead of him, it's Jason Frank as Adam Steele.
That's the one, yeah.
But it's the exact same thing where he's sitting on the thing talking about his dad in his motorcycle jacket and everything. It's just almost exactly the same. Yeah. And then what else is they had that the guy in the newspaper who was basically the equivalent of their bulk of skull, but one person combined.
Yeah, Percival. His name Percival.
Percival, that's it.
Yeah, or was it Preston? One or two. Yeah. It was
yeah. I was like, yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest series ever told. So
no, but like they kind of like handicapped themselves from the start. If I'm honest, yeah.
I think because they tried something too far in advance where the technology wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know? If they, for example, I know they did a Power Rangers movie, but if they do a VR Troopers movie, now they can do
yeah.
Like going into the Matrix. In fact, they didn't even need, they could have just done it like the Matrix where it's not you go into the virtual world, which is like humans and everything like. You don't need none of the glitchy or anything like that, you know? But now they could do it and it'd be like Tron, sort of.
Yeah, it'll make more sense. Like, I feel like, because the guy who I was watching the thing, he kind of said this, and I was like, it's true. It's, when it came out, because people obviously, now we know what VR is, and like, more of a understanding. Back then, it was one of them keywords that people didn't really know what VR was, but like, if you just say it sounds like futuristic and cool, like, yeah, this is VR world, I guess.
I see. What can I only assume that their suits are made of VR hard light?
Yeah, something. Oh. They didn't explain what the suits are made of.
Yeah, but I can buy that technology.
Yeah.
When they find the people that are from the other realm, right? They do not look like anything.
They're like monsters or aliens. It's nothing. Nothing computery based or anything.
No, exactly.
Yeah, that's a weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's. Like people who just threw keywords in a meeting and like, they're like,
what's hot? The hot buzzwords around this time. In fact,
VR. Okay, cool. What is VR? We don't know. Okay,
yeah, exactly. No one knows what VR is, right? So we can write something around it, and and
people will think they're smart because they get it, but they don't really get it. But they're gonna pretend.
Yeah. Okay. What did you think of the theme song?
The theme song's not that bad. Trooper Supreme. It's not that bad. It's no like Power Ranger banger, if I'm honest. Like
no, it wasn't.
It was like it's you can see where they're going with it, but no.
I think what they didn't do during the intros was the Power Rangers back to front turn. yeah.
Like,
but they did do the camera Okada's face zoom in.
Yeah.
When they Trooper transform.
Yeah.
And then one time when they...
Go on.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, even their transformations ain't that great, but what are you saying?
There was one time where they lost their powers or something, and Ryan Steele's turns his head, looks at the camera, because that's where the enemies are apparently, behind the camera, right? Looking at the camera going, Trooper transform, and then nothing happens, and he did, like, you know the pro wrestling cell where you're like, huh? yeah.
You're like, oh, dude, no. No, dude, no.
Making sure everyone in the cheap seats can see your reaction.
It's just I feel sorry. Really.
Like you're saying as well, they use the exact same footage for all the transformations all the time. It's not even like Power Rangers where they're dynamic. It's like a photo, and then they use glitchy whatever footage.
CGI.
yeah. The wipes and all that stuff. The most advanced. I don't want to say the most advanced technology of 1994 because it was not, right? But whatever Cyberman could afford, I don't know. But it wasn't terrible. It just looked like. Terrible. How come your hairstyle is like that, right? But when the actual episode where you're transforming, it's not like that.
Yeah. Like,
why do you have dark roots, right? Right, still. But then in the actual episode, you have proper blonde hair.
Okay. Yeah. Even though, like, the thing as well, because like Power Rangers, they're the same sort of thing. But I don't know, for some reason you kind of overlook it because you can tell there's more of a care made for the show. But like VR Troopers, it's like. No one's gonna bother. We're surprised if everyone watches all these 96 episodes.
Yeah.
But
just, would you want a VR Troopers movie being made, or are you like?
I don't know. I would like to see it get a reboot. If I'm honest.
Do you think that they will got? Do you think they should have got a crossover with Power Rangers, considering how long Power Rangers went and how many things did cross over with Power Rangers?
Yeah, it should have. It should have. Like, I know there was a plan for it to be like a spin-off and like be in the same universe and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then
just
didn't materialize.
Might make more sense because then you could have all the because the Power Rangers they fight all sorts of aliens,
Yeah.
machines, and whatnot, and then you could just see it like, oh, then the VR spawned from that. I don't know how they're gonna.
Yeah, how you sort of. I think that's where they kind of went wrong with the whole VR thing. If it was called like it's gonna just a random name like Suburban Troopers, just I'm just throwing that name out. It had nothing to do with anything. But like it was done in the real world rather than this VR world. Yeah. Then it would be easier to kind of explain a crossover with like Power Rangers. Like you know, we're just sort of you're fighting this force, we're fighting this other force. Yeah, you know, we could live in the same universe. But the virtual world, Power Rangers like this is beneath us. You know, like,
I think in the comic books, in the comics they crossed over. But I can't. Obviously, I mean, I haven't read it, so I can't say specifically. But I did see a picture of the VR troopers, and I think it was the alternate universe VR troopers that crossed over with the
because I know
the Power Rangers, but I can't remember which type of which Power Rangers and whatnot.
Because I know there's a new Power Rangers series called Power Rangers Prime. Yeah. The VR Troopers are making an appearance in that, and I think that's actually going to be a VR Trooper comic book spin-off.
Okay. That may be one. Is Kaitlin wearing like a white kind of suit sort of thing?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Because I only saw the picture of it there. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think as well. So Grimlord looked the way he was, hooked up to his machines or whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. You can just say that's how he goes into virtual reality. But when he goes into season 2, because he got more powerful, except that he looked like he downgraded, which he did in a way. But then the explanation is like when the camera's up there, when he's teleported over to his virtual world, and he doesn't look. It makes him look okay. You know how like they shoot from underneath upwards when you're looking at the Big Show or Great Khali or whatever to make them look taller, But when you look from the other angle, the bird's eye view, it makes them look smaller because their body the angle makes their body look compressed. It was like, wow, you look less frightening.
Yeah. Let's get on to Grimlord. Let's talk about like, all right, because you watched the Reese, so you know more about it. I'm just going from what I sort of remember. Yeah. What was his mission statement? I don't get what his whole thing is.
I don't know, but apparently apparently like Real Repulsor and Lord Zed or something. Somehow you know the identities of the people you're fighting. You're like,
but yet you do nothing to get them.
Exactly. You're like, well, I'll get them, right? But I've got everything. I've got all day to get them, right? They've got to go to school, whatever they got to do, yeah. Jobs, whatever. Nah, I'm just gonna wait for them at the prime opportunity when they're available, and then I can go and fight them.
Yeah.
Or in fact, Grimlord doesn't even fight them. He's just like, everyone else fight them. I'll eventually get it. It's all right. I think there was one episode where he was going to be male or whatever it was, and then he interacted with the civilian identity. His Grimlord civilian identity interacted with the PR, the PR Rangers apparently. The VR troopers.
Yeah.
And they made a joke of him, and it's like, but isn't he the key villain of your entire franchise? Why are you making him like bumbling foolish kind of? Serves him right. Like, so the kids go camping, and he's coming out in his robe because that's how he because villain, right?
Yeah, because that's what you do.
Because when you're a rich businessman, you can afford such luxuries, but all the people that work for you, the peons down there, they sleep in the woods and whatnot, right? I'm gonna get my silk robe, sit and have while they're melting marshmallows, I'm there with my cup of whatever it is, high class wine, sit around them, and then they're mocking me. They're mocking me, the rich guy, when they're peons.
I just never
and then he falls in the water and stuff and gets his stuff dirty, and it's just like, but come on now, he's
Grimlord, you know.
Yeah, even though he's pretending he's not, like, still. I go and had to go and watch the original Japanese footage of the Grimlord's transformation, because I was like, how they did it here is like every time they use the same the clip, right? Where every time he transforms, saying the exact same thing, right? And no matter what was happening in the previous episode, if his hairstyle's slightly different, they got to get him in the same suit roughly, and the lighting roughly the same and everything like that. But you can tell it's slightly different because episode to episode, right?
Yeah.
And then the shutters close behind him, right? That's when they cut it to the stock footage they use where he's grabbing the thing, and then his hairstyle tweaks slightly from 2 minutes before, no, a minute before, 10 seconds before, whatever, right? Just so he can go to his virtual reality world. It's like how they did it was they did a little bit of blackening over him, and then then they did the Bruce Banner Hulk thing from the 70s where it kind of the double negative over him,
and then it goes to his
but then he has his long white hair for some reason, and then his final transformation has a helmet on it. The hair tucked around, or you can't see the hair. It's like, what's the point of that middle bit?
I always thought, I was like, why would you do that? It doesn't.
Even if the thing is, if his hair was slicked back with the long, then you get it where the helmet goes over it. Right? If he's got a helmet over normal long hair, then it should be coming out the edges of the helmet. Then, but choose a lane.
What they didn't know.
Then I had to watch the original Japanese businessman who transformed into Grimlord, and they've got the Japanese guy there. He's cracking his smile, and then the next one is it does that dark white, where then they've got some of the makeup over his face, and he's starting to look a bit older, right? Then I think there's a third one where there's like pulsating parts of his face.
Okay, all right.
And then it goes into the standard Grimlord transformation.
Oh, so
but it's the exact same thing. It's like his long hair and then helmet. And it's like, what?
Like, you would think there should be a reason why he's got the long hair, right? Like, say that's one part of transformation, and later on he transforms him on a helmet, right? Or something like that.
Or because you want to take up as much time as you can with stock footage, right? He's that white hair, and then he picks up the helmet. Or whatever it is that you have to close up to the helmet for. Put over his head, and then turns around like a Joe Henry, right? And that's it, done. You know.
But I don't think they know what they're doing. I said that 25 years later. I don't think. But
it's just like it's when you see the cheapness of it, it's just like, wow. You know, because it's the same 10-second, 20-second footage all the time. You know, then he has his for some reason he has this bunch of female minions in their black little black dresses.
I never understood that either. Like, what's their reason behind?
It's just the rotation of them. It's like, all right, like you say, what's the? Not to say whatever, right? But it's just one of those things where are they meant to be the same characters? Are they different characters? They're not. What are they there for?
Because they don't actually end up doing anything, do they, in the whole series?
No, they're like the magician's assistants, just there for the eye candy.
Because but if they had for example, Rita and Zed had their minions, and they actually had names and did stuff. Then different story, but they don't. They're just there.
They do have a set of female group in there called the Vixens or whatever, but they're not those people in the real world.
So what's the point?
Because it wouldn't make sense if he's just like, I got my what's it called? What's Bison called them? His Bison Troopers? Like when he's got Cammy, he's got
he's the Killer Bees.
Yeah. So if Grimlord has his version, I know in the Japanese footage they have the females as well, right? That's what I'm saying is if he transport them as his entourage through there, then there's a reason for them being in existence. You know? But no, just like some separate group of females that kind of do know he's Grimlord, but not really. Well, he knows he's fighting VR troopers, but kind of also, you know?
It's stupid. It's stupid.
And every single time where there's just random people that antagonize the VR troopers, and they just turn out to and turn into the gold ninjas or the E's ninjas.
Or whatever they are, who are not VR related.
Exactly. I was like, this series is
It tries. I'll give it that. It tries, but it just doesn't.
Well, I think how hard they have to try to put it all together is one thing, right?
It seems like
congrats to them for actually being able to put something cohesive together, right? But at the same time, it's just like you did extra work. For what reward? I hope those guys got compensated more than the Power Rangers, right?
I doubt it.
But you're thinking no.
I'm thinking no.
You think they got shortchanged?
Yeah, man. Totally. And it's not their fault.
Oh, man. Speaking of Rangers, we didn't say something last time when we were talking about Rangers, and that was how they handled David Yost's exit in the series.
Yeah.
And where they basically he turned old. Yeah. So he was there, he got replaced by another actor, and then he had the recording. Then when they solved that saga, he had a recording scene saying "Laters, Rangers." I'm gonna.
Yeah, with someone who doesn't sound anything like him either. Yeah. Like, that's weird.
But, yeah. And it's just like basically, as far as the actor goes, they just cut him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then another Power Rangers bit I forgot to mention is when you were telling me to listen to the album, I did listen to the album.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention about the song, the Alpha song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie as well. Yeah. That film.
And I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That one and Oh We're in Trouble, they're kind of on the same level, I will say. So,
that's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like,
we're in trouble.
but good on look, who just like the people that sang Billy Gunn's theme.
Yep. As long as they got paid. Yeah.
They whoever sung it put their effort into it, and I'll be like, all right, you know what? Yeah, no half-assing. They just went for it.
They knew the assignment. They did it. Yeah. So
And as we're on Power Rangers, did you watch the Lost Pilot?
No, because I remember I've seen it before. Because I know there's one part. I don't know. I've seen two different pilots. I've seen the one that's basically the same shot. It's not shot for shot, but the same as the original first episode.
Okay.
Then I've seen one where they're at a bowling alley.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, that's the Lost Pilot. But what was the other pilot that you watched?
Oh, it was literally just the original first episode, but with not Trini, the other girl.
Oh, they actually have her in that. They filmed the proper. Okay. Yeah. Because in the Lost Pilot, they're at the bowling alley, and then Kimberly's not particularly likable.
Oh wow!
So no wonder they changed that.
Yeah.
But I want to say the Rangers aren't necessarily completely likable either, but it's good that they tweaked them because the audience they were aiming at, you wouldn't want to market the way they were there.
Yeah.
To the kids over there.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. They probably just thought like they could get a bit more audience without having to go that route.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, so you know when you watch the pilot of Smallville or something like that, you're like, they aim for that sort of teen audience, right? But kids can watch it.
Yeah. Except
some episodes where she gets a bit saucy, but
but you can still it's nothing like offensive for like
or something like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where you're like, oh yeah, okay, I suppose if you're 12 to 15, this is your age range. But if you're kids, you can watch shit. I don't get in America, by the way, where you can bring a kid to an R-rated film, and you can cover their eyes. It's like, okay, but if they're swearing on screen, if they're cursing out with F-words, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, sometimes words are more like offensive than like language, but no more language.
It's just like what's that, like that. I mean, in the UK here, it's just like straight up. If you're not at age, you can't go in the film.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Well, I think they've changed that since then, like in America. But yeah, it's just like a dumb little thing. Yeah, doesn't make sense. There was something else to do with what we were talking.
What, the VR troopers?
Yeah. I was gonna move slightly back onto that.
Well, by the way, you don't have any VR Trooper merchandise there.
No. My brother did have the. What's the like VR Trooper 1, 2, and 3, right? There's no like.
I don't know what they. I don't know what they called their names though. But they just called each other their civilian names.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they weren't in the real world, so it doesn't matter about identities, does it? Just realize that now.
Well, and even when they find. Oh yeah. Well, I don't think they just called them VR Troopers. Thank you, Trooper. You know.
Oh, that's.
You guys are the VR Troopers. Yeah.
Because yeah. My brother had the Ryan Steele figure. I remember he had that. And
wait. You talk about blonde-haired Ryan Steele or Ryan Steele Metal Hero? VR Trooper Ryan Steele.
VR Trooper Ryan Steele.
Okay.
Yeah. He had that action figure, and I think I had the JB one.
Yeah.
Because I remember he had that cool like lance sort of double sword.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had those, but then it was like, oh, okay. Well, for that,
right.
Okay,
fair enough.
Yeah, it wasn't anything because they didn't have Zords or anything either. So it's like it wasn't.
No, it's true.
Appealing.
It's true. I mean, they was like you're saying, they were a step back from Power Rangers, but now you see why. When the footage is so old, they were using stuff from the 80s, and it's just like, not quite. Though I can see why, Grimlord and all that stuff. Yeah. and when they turn into actual ninjas, that is 80s stuff, and it's like,
yeah,
but why did you think you could get away with using that?
yeah, in 1994/5.
And if you're not in Japan,
yeah,
okay, fine enough. Ninjas in Japan, yes, okay. But if you say Crossroad City, where you got a Japanese American fusion, right?
Yeah. Like the made up city in in Big Hero 6.
Yeah. Or even like when you take Blade Runner, when they merged, or stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, fine. But no, there weren't enough Oriental elements in Crossroad City.
Yeah, to be like, hey, there's ninjas too. Like, wait.
yeah. Like, all right, fine.
Does he just find ninjas cool? You know what I mean? Like, but then even if they kind of like, there's a way of getting around this, right? Like they kind of did in the first of the new Turtles movie. Well, the first of the Michael Bay Turtle movies, right? Where originally, the whole thing. Originally, Shredder was meant to be what's his name, William Fincher.
Yeah.
It meant to be him, and then people were like, you can't have Shredder being a white guy because there's blah blah blah. So they kind of backpedaled and brought Shredder out of nowhere. Like, yeah, he's just this random Japanese guy that was my master, I think, but he's younger than me when we see him in the second film. But anyway, like, you could have been, this Grimlord dude, he's a white dude who just likes Asian culture, and then that would kind of explain, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like why his VR thingamajig looked like that from
yeah, but no, like that's a simple little thing he's done. Like, by
the way, okay, so as you're saying about Turtles,
yeah.
If Shredder in the first movie was white, is William Fincher, whatever, right?
Yeah.
You should have just left out of that, because then you can actually have Shredder appear at the end. Yeah. Like William, did Shredder go into the garbage compactor, whatever it is? I think it was the first movie.
That's the first movie. That's the first 1990 movie. Yeah.
Right. So how does he die in this one, in the Michael Bay one?
He doesn't, because he comes back in the second one, and you see him without a mask, and he's played by the guy. The Drift King in Tokyo Drift.
Brian T.
Yeah, he's played by him.
The Drift King.
DK. Yeah, he's played by him, and so
okay. Look, what they could have just left him as Shredder in the first one, William Fincher, and then like whenever he had to die, whatever they do to get rid of him. Yeah, and then you have Brian T. just kind of pick up the helmet, and then after the credits saying that like. He's the real Shredder.
Yeah, like done that.
Just like when they were doing Iron Man 3, when the Mandarin was a fake Mandarin.
Yeah.
And then Guy Pearce was also a fake Mandarin.
Yeah.
And then Tony Leung was the actual Mandarin, but not really.
But not really. Because
you could have just had the actual Shredder make an appearance.
That's why you could just done that instead of like refilming things, and you can see what they've kind of added this part in to make it like.
I'm not, by the way, saying about race swapping or whitewashing or anything like that. Yeah, but if you filmed your movie. And then you have to put back things to make it make sense, because you that's not how it originally went. Then you're causing yourself so much more problems. Just let it be, and just film something, a tag at the end.
Yeah. Which would make
not
sense.
like, by the way, where they got Ghost in the Shell, right?
Yeah.
And they got Scarlett Johansson playing the captain, right?
Yeah.
The major.
Yeah.
And just like, but she's not of that ethnicity, except that. She is in the end, because it was her implied to a cybernetic body that just happened to be white. And it's like, just stop causing yourself problems.
Just
You're trying to say it's okay, but it's not okay.
Yeah, like just like just stand on it. Like, we made her white. What? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Doesn't make a difference, because
at the end of the day, we want this movie to be making money, so we got a lady who makes money at the box office.
Yeah.
That was our. If you're the producer, you just say that was our logic. Unfortunately, but they can't exactly say. By the way, we didn't make any Asian stars, female action stars, so we couldn't use one because we didn't think that they could sell to the audience.
But like that was one other situation. I was like, it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we said it before. We said the race swaps thing before. Like, if, for example, right, I'm going to just take this character because it makes more sense how I'm going to put it. Like, T'Challa, right? Him being from an African country is prime to his character, right?
Yeah.
And if you was to change him to a white guy, there's a problem there, right?
Yeah.
If it's, for example, who can we use? I'm gonna use Tommy from Power Rangers, right?
Yeah.
And you change him to a black guy. Does it make any difference? Actually, no, that's wrong because he's a Native American, quote unquote. All right. Right, I want to use Jason, right? Yeah, if you change him to a black guy, does it make any difference that his character?
Well, they
whatsoever?
changed Billy to black.
Yeah, so I'm saying, yeah, exactly. There we go.
That doesn't make a difference.
Make a difference. Nothing, because it's nothing to do. Like his race is nothing to do with his character.
Yeah.
Like change it. Like if you change the Mandarin, that's another one. If they change him to like a white dude, I can see like, yeah, ooh, that is a bit. Cause,
but then see how they got around that was because Guy Pearce, I am the man. Even though when he said he is the Mandarin, he was using that as a fake title for something else, and then they filmed the thing afterwards to say regards from the real Mandarin. So like, all right, yeah.
But then,
I mean,
what made me laugh about the Mandarin thing as well? No one complained when they thought the Mandarin was a Middle Eastern dude, which doesn't make any sense there. You know what I mean? No one complained about that. No, it's just...
Yeah. Well, we look.
It doesn't make any sense.
But like Ben Kingsley's partially Indian,
yeah.
Right? So when they're like, "Oh, he's Asian," but he's not that part of Asia.
Yeah.
But whatever, right?
But then that's like, that's a problem there. You know what I mean? Right? Like, so you just think all Asian people were like South Asian and East the same? Is that that's racist? But you know what I mean? Like, but okay, sure, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, no, it's just one of those things where but then again, I mean, look, I thought Michael Clark Duncan was a really good Kingpin.
Yeah, so yeah.
I mean, it works in some places, and sometimes you're just like,
yeah,
huh.
Yeah. Or you backtrack so much, you create two of the same characters, i.e., Wally West and Wally West. Yeah. Sorry, Wally West and Walter West. Sorry. Yeah.
But I think that's different because they had even in the comics where Iris West is pure white. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the show that's going on at the time, she's black, right?
Yeah.
But then they had Wally West was also going to be introduced, and he had to be black there, but he was white in the comics, or white ginger, no less. Yeah. And then they were like, "Well, we have to introduce him. We have to go in line with the show at the time because people get confused." It was like, hold on a minute. So why is Wally half white? Yeah.
Yeah.
In the comics, but you have Iris still fully white.
Yeah, and then
you can't pick and choose which parts of
the West did, because then like, okay, we could bring the original Wally West back, and he's Wally West Jr.'s cousin, but we're gonna change his name to Walter. So then, no, Wallace West. Sorry,
The worst being, by the way, for this is I know we've said it before, but we just say if we're gonna go here, we'll go here. Right? Yeah. The worst being Fantastic Four, where the Johnny Storm is Michael B. Jordan, who's black.
Yeah.
But it just had to be Sue Storm.
Yeah.
Adopted white. Why?
Yeah.
Why? You could have
just
you have to logically speaking, just having the both the same race.
Yeah, would have made more sense. I get what they're trying to do, like like the whole Fantastic Four thing is you don't need to be blood to be family. That's the whole like premise of Fantastic Four, right? But like, this didn't make like.
Yeah. I don't like. You could have had the Thing or Mr. Fantastic be black, and it wouldn't have made a difference.
Oh, the Thing you couldn't because he's Jewish, so that's you can't. And that's part of the character. Yeah, because that's like part of his character. So
yeah. Except that I was gonna make a joke. When he turns into a rock thing with that, when he had no pants on, how can you tell if he's Jewish or not?
Good point. You can't see you down there. Yeah, but like, that one didn't make any sense. Like, okay.
Do you think, by the way, that's why in VR Troopers they had JV?
For
the diversity.
Yeah.
Because you got Ryan Steele who's white, and you got Kaitlin who's white, right?
Yeah.
And then you got the Percival who's white, the guy who owns the newspapers white. They got Tao who's Asian.
Yeah.
I suspect he's probably Japanese, right, in the series, yeah?
Yeah.
But it could be Chinese, could be Chinese, Korean, whatever. They don't actually specify.
Yeah, well, they don't really know.
He's just the mystical teacher on the side who shows them martial arts.
Token Asian person, yeah.
Yeah, I assume, by the way, he's Japanese because he's teaching them karate, so.
Yeah. Realize that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that was because
Do you think they're just trying to hit the quotas?
Yeah, of course. It might sound bad, but yeah, it was. Because
look, I want to say these programs that aimed at kids, and Power Rangers always had as much diversity as it seems like it could. So
Power Rangers is probably like the earliest like sort of like I'll say like media that was like tried to be like multicultural.
Yeah, because as we say, right, how can you have all friends in all the lead characters in Friends?
Yeah,
all white.
All white, yeah. And also when they have other friends outside their friend circle, they're also all white. Yeah, I mean,
well, except for sometimes when they're dating people that aren't white.
Yeah, but that's probably just to quiet the people down who moan about it. Yeah.
Oh. By the way, I have not watched that series back since it stopped.
Neither have I.
It's actually still meant to hold up decently well, except for some things that are of the time, like we were saying about VR troopers and whatnot. It's just like technology and stuff. Like mobile phones now, you can call people, but I'm sure in episodes of Seinfeld and stuff like that, where you like
they're using like payphones or stuff like
yeah. Like okay, well, you know, or GPS if they're getting lost, right? They get out the AZ and you're like, all right.
Oh yeah. That's a point. I might look back and see if they actually hold up. Crazy.
But you know, as well as some of the jokes probably won't land because I'm sure they're saying like stuff in the. Oh, by the way, it still ties into what we're talking about. VR troopers, even though we're going wildly to the side, left and right. Yeah. Right? But sometimes they make pop culture references of the time, and you're like, yeah. But then you're gonna be like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
If I was just someone new watching this thing, huh?
It's not
what does that mean?
It's like some of the pop culture references they made like back then. Like even as a kid, I'm like, huh? And it's probably now if I realize, like, oh, I get it now because I'm old enough to actually know what that meant. Okay, yeah.
There was one joke in Supernatural where Dean Winchester had an idea. He think he stole it off a cop or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was with another sheriff or something in the car, right? And they had to go to a location. And he goes, and the guy's like, show me your ID, right?
Yeah.
So Dean flips his ID, and the guy's black, right?
Yeah.
Dean's like, oh yeah. I've got that, that Michael Jackson disease, that vitiligo.
Oh yeah.
Turn me white. I'm like, okay, but but first of all, right? Now people watching now. If you're watching Supernatural nowadays,
yeah,
who's Michael Jackson?
Yeah,
that's true, it's not that the joke doesn't land. It's just like, why?
Who is this? Yeah.
What's the link between the black guy there and now that you're white?
Yeah.
Without knowing Michael Jackson's condition,
Yeah, it's true, and it's like it got those sort of things, and like even some of the jokes the dog makes, because who we even talk about, because that's a bit that people don't like to talk about. Yeah, him. Like some of his jokes are like, a kid's not gonna understand that.
He's got like, vengeance against one particular lady for no reason.
He's a bully.
Oh, and you just remind me. You know how like we were saying about episode to episode, stuff just happens, right? And you can watch it out of order. I watched accidentally the last episode first.
Yeah.
Because I clicked it. Sometimes you know how like you click and the playlist reverses.
Yeah.
So I was like, huh? When's he gonna learn to be a like? Oh, so he's a VR trooper from the offset. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he's not. The episode was happening. I was like, okay, so he discovers VR trooperness. No, goes in and he talks to Professor Thing of the screen. Yeah. I'm like, oh, so we're just gonna start in his middle of his VR career. I guess so, right?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, actually, because if this is last episode, you just assume there's a series finale.
Yeah.
Which this series does not have.
No. Oh, no. It just kind of like ends and goes straight into the second season.
Yeah, you would have thought, by the way, between the 3 episodes, the 3 different sets of footage they used, you could come up with something as a finale.
Yeah. No. It's just because even season 2 doesn't end with anything, does it? Just ends like
Yeah. I was like, even if I never watched it, and we're not gonna do an episode on it because I'm not gonna sit down and watch a whole bunch of Big Bad Billboards. But if you did an episode that transitioned that one to that one, because I think that's what they actually did in the Male Hero series. Yeah. Then kind of I mean. Now, without watching Big Bad Billboards, I can't say specifically, but you could have something like something goes wrong with the VR, blah blah blah.
Yeah, because in Big Bad Beatballs, yeah, like there's like season 1 ends. It ends with like a proper ending, and then season 2 starts with something like what explains why they get new powers and stuff like that. And like, okay, yeah, there's like ramifications.
But could you transition from the end of VR Troopers into the beginning of Big Bad Beatballs? Not saying, by the way, that's what they wanted to do, because I think they were thinking of it, but they were like, the footage is too wildly different.
Yeah.
But could you bridge it so that goes from there to there?
I don't think you could.
Not using the same characters, by the way, just saying something happens, and then you find another set of characters elsewhere.
I don't know, like if they didn't rely heavily on the VR part, I reckon you could have. But because it's like whole VR, and then you go into like these beetle shaped things, like
okay,
how do we get from here to here? Yeah, it's a like you can't like suspend your like what's the word?
Disbelief.
Yeah, that much. I mean, like it's to be like
I see.
Yeah, that's like one of the reasons like I kind of fell off. I started watching like you know I'm a huge Transformers fan. Like I started watching like the 4th season, which is technically the Japanese one.
Yeah,
and then it turns into something else where the Transformers become these things called pretenders, where they can transform into human-looking people, and I was like, this is dumb. Like, why?
Is this animated or actually
animated?
Okay.
And they call pretenders, yeah, and it's like this kind of takes away the whole point of the Transformers. Why are you kind of?
Well, they're transforming into humans now, right?
Yeah,
Next level of transformation.
I was like, you're these big cool robots in disguise, right? Why are you transforming? Yeah, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not literally because it's like that. How do you logically explain something like that? And I think that's when it started killing off like the Japanese one as well. People like this doesn't make any sense.
If they transformed into cybernetic humans, maybe, right?
Yeah, but I just like, this is okay, cool, yeah. And then he brought in like sun gods and stuff. It was dumb.
Okay, so watching this series, I can see why I didn't have the longevity of Power Rangers. First of all, not because of just the footage, right? Just because, but it seemed like, okay, we got Power Rangers, and when you're watching as a kid, you don't realize it's Sabayan entertainment or whatever, right? You just feel like, oh, there's another series that's almost exactly the same, but just not as
good,
up to date or something. There's something about it that doesn't. It's not quite as charismatic.
Yeah,
even though that's not the word I'm looking for. It's just.
It felt like because I remember seeing the adverts for it on Sky, because like when Power Rangers come to the first season, I think was coming to an end, they were showing like VR Troopers coming now, and like the major thing I noticed straight away is like, okay, how do we go from 6 Rangers to 3? Like you know what I mean? It felt like then like a budget cut down. Like okay, you got rid of 3 people for why? And then it's like never really explained why, and it just seems like everything's less of a threat than it was in Power Rangers. That's why I didn't really take to VR.
That's why most of the time, even I want to say the American footage, but most of the enemies were the minions. You know,
or like
the gold and black guys and the ninja guys, because they can transport those costumes. But you rarely see any of the other people interacting with the VR troopers and stuff like that.
Because like Power Rangers,
right, so you're gonna bulk up your runtime with stuntmen.
Yeah. Because like with Power Rangers, you had like the monster of the week sort of thing, like, you know, all that, and then the Zord battles and this. But like VR Troopers,
it might have also helped. They had like 6, so you had the 6 Rangers.
Yeah.
Or even 5 at the beginning, but you had that footage to deal with. There's multiple, like there's a lot more footage to use. Whereas if you've got 3 of them, two from different.
Yeah.
So you're much more limited in what's where and what's not.
Yeah. And then
because they can't really hide certain things but then if they shamelessly just if they could just shamelessly be wherever they are in the playground or in the park or whatever, jump, and then in the mountains, right, you can just use that footage. Who's gonna, you don't care.
I'm a child. I'm not gonna.
You don't care already. You should, you don't care. I don't. Your audience, but I think it's one of those things as well. The audience has kind of got to be in on the joke, kind of, if you're going to do it that way for people to accept it.
Yeah.
But your audience as kids, they didn't care about continuity either.
No. And that was the other thing as well. They're like, a lot of it you see them like fighting fighter jets and stuff like that. But I was like, what? Huh?
Oh my goodness. There was one episode that you remind me, right? That JB in his Trooper Transform version, he had the car.
Yeah.
And then but Ryan Steele was fighting someone So the enemy from Ryan Steele's series,
Yeah.
or the red and blue Metal Hero series,
Yeah.
and then JB has to do the finale fight. It's like, well, you're not even from the same series. How you do that?
How does this make any sense? Yeah.
The guy jumps in the car, and then JB's in his car. So anytime it cuts to the guy trying to knock JB off or whatever, right, kill him they have to kind of, if they're in the same scene at the same time, like you can have the cars hitting each other and stuff like that, but if it edges into the actual you're seeing the actual enemy, they cut it right away, so you don't
see.
But it's just like, wow, okay, that's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, for what? Exactly.
I want to say a quote unquote franchise, but it's not really.
It's not really, no.
And I think its existence now is that people know it because of how cheap it was.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, it has its fans, like, which I was crazy. Like, oh, really? It has fans? Okay. Not being bad. Like, it stayed with some people, Like,
I will say, as much as we mock Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa for not being able to do anything, anyways, right?
Yeah.
Grimlord doesn't. That just sits down.
Yeah.
All the time. Doesn't really do much himself either.
No,
so.
He just sits there and go.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
With his puppet mouth talking, right? Yeah. And then you would assume that Grimlord's, because in the first series, he's basically in his Thanos chair.
Yeah.
Talking to his troops, and then the troops that are outside of his series on the teleprompter screen or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And then in season 2, there's a talking wall.
Yeah.
All right.
Not explained.
Yeah. Apparently, we don't need to.
No, like you're up to speed. I'm not up to speed. Nah, you're fine. Carry on. Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
There was something.
And if you ever had the VR troopers actually interacting there, like having their finale fight there, then you'd be like, yeah, okay. I think Kaitlin does get teleported over there accidentally one time, right? But
yeah.
As well, how they have to film that because they got the talking wall, but they can't he's not in that. He's in there, but they don't have that.
Yeah.
So they've got the set, but they film it from certain angles where you don't.
So you can see the wall, but they can still do the
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Silly guys.
They got the props, but they just don't have they have the additional stuff that they need for the other bits and pieces.
Yeah. It's just bad.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad one.
Do you think they would have been better off just doing a Metal Hero series?
Yeah, would have probably made more sense. Probably been easier for them as well to just do it.
Yeah.
But there was another. Oh, there was something else that kind of griped me about this show. It had something to do
with
like
someone.
I think I might have said this. Like I did ask before. Like, so the loose connection like Grimlord has was like him and Ryan Steele's dad. Didn't they try to create the VR world?
So it seems to me, even though I've watched the entire thing, right?
Yeah.
Professor Horatio, whatever, right?
Yeah. Horatio Hart, yeah.
Yeah. And Ryan Steele were looking at some archaeologist sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not even 100% sure myself because I know that Grimlord appears, right? And he just blasts them down.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Steele's dad kind of dies, but doesn't really because he becomes the one of the Grimlord's minions. Yeah. And Horatio Hart.
Doesn't he put himself in the
life
computer
goes
thing?
To the computer?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, so when you get hit by lightning,
that's what happens.
Apparently, you can do many amazing things. Transfer your life also. Yeah, I don't know.
Makes sense, I guess. Yeah.
If you said it was an alien civilization, that's what the archaeologists were doing. Yeah. And then the lightning hit Horatio Hart from Grimlord, and they interacted with whatever it was there. Then okay, fine.
Yeah.
But that's not. No, that's not what you said.
Oh. Yeah, just a lot of it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, that was an episode where Ryan Steele and got swapped with the dog, like the brains, or something like that. Their personalities, and it's like, what? Okay,
sure.
And then there was an episode where they got turned into kids as well, and I was like, oh yeah, not like just like the Power Rangers episode.
Yeah,
we're just like, yeah.
Okay, I guess. I guess. Oh, that's just, and like I'm trying to think of. Like, okay, Ryan Steele, like, his whole character arc is being like, I need to find my dad. I find my dad. Yeah. Oh, I lost my dad again. All right, that's all right.
But like, you pointed that out to me, right? Yeah. Oh, first, what you were going to say? Were you going somewhere with that?
Yeah, no, just like I know his thing Kaitlin, she works for the newspaper, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's all you kind of know about her.
Yeah.
What did JB do again?
Works at the karate school.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you say about Ryan Steele, yeah? Search for his dad. Even though every single episode for these 90 episodes or whatever, well, no, apart from the first series,
Yeah.
he's not searching for his dad. He's going on funny adventures with his friends and stuff like that. It's like every single day, I'll never stop searching for your dad. It's like, I just saw you 20 minutes ago.
You do anything to search for your father. And then when you do find him, you kind of stumble across him. Like, oh, yeah, that's my dad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I found you all along. That was my mission. Yeah.
It just happened to be where I was at the time. And I forgot that
if he said, I'll continue looking for you as best I can, Dad. But sometimes Grimlord, he's got to...
he got to come first because, we got to save the virtual world?
Yeah. Whatever it is. Just something on the tagline at the end saying, not like I'll... Because he keeps on saying about searching for his dad, and I'm watching it 20 episodes and I'm like, this guy hasn't been looking for his dad whatsoever.
Where's your dad? You haven't found him. You haven't done anything to find this guy. You don't like him.
Yeah. And like you say, you only happens to find him when they have to scan something. Otherwise, they were dealing with a bunch of bad guys, and they realized that he was the dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this show. Do I?
What did you think of their suits?
Looking back at them, they look alright. Like I don't really remember the one that Ryan gets in season 2.
Oh, the blue one that looks like that looks a bit like Alpha 5, but blue. Not really, but kind of.
But kind of, yeah. I don't remember that one. I remember like his original one, the half red, half blue one, which I thought still looks pretty cool to this day, in my personal opinion.
The half red, half blue one looks so much more better than the blue one. The blue one that was apparently upgrade is actually a downgrade.
Yeah.
Even though it was a downgrade in the actual footage, but in the Japanese footage. But in the series, they're trying to tell me it's an upgrade. I'm like,
yeah, no, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
Well, look at it now. Like, that doesn't look great at all. Why would you do that? Why?
Yeah. You know what? As well, it's just like if you don't have the footage for it, then just kind of come up with a finale with what you've got. But how did you manage to? I don't know how many seasons of Red and Blue Metal Hero they had, right?
Yeah.
So maybe fair dues, they only had one season's worth of stuff, and they did it. But it's just okay, fine. Yeah. I don't. Is the Metal Hero series only one season per character? Because I think it does go on.
Let me see.
Yeah. Because then in Power Rangers, they do every year they seem to rotate the cast.
Yeah. All right, Metal Hero.
Because you know it is, right? It's one of those things where you're like, if you keep on changing them out, they can't band together. Yeah. They can't get more money.
You can't get no money.
They got no power. They got no power beyond to bargain with me.
Which is kind of true. All right, so it was one. Wait, it was season 84.
Wow, season 84. You sure?
Yeah.
You mean like not the year?
No, 1984.
Oh, okay. I thought you said season 84. And I was like, wow, that's
That was 49 episodes, and then there's because it takes from season 3 of Metal Hero, and then takes from season 5 and 6 of Metal Hero.
Yeah. But it's the red and blue suit. Just season 3.
I think it's just season 1. But season 3.
Oh wow.
Doesn't really say. But yeah, either way, that's weird. Why would you?
Yeah, this series is something else.
Smart, not smart at all.
Yeah, and
Wow.
Do you think it just didn't have the? Okay, if they did it as Metal Hero.
Yeah.
But they called it the American version of Metal Hero, yeah?
Yeah, Metal Hero.
Well, you know what? They could have just called it Metal Hero.
Yeah.
I don't see why they couldn't have.
No.
Japan would have been Metal Hero, Metal Hero, or something like that. Right? Yeah. So, and I know in America they want something a bit more punchy, right?
Yeah.
Mighty Morphin Metal Hero.
Yeah, as it's in the same universe, yeah.
But if they just used the Metal Hero series as their basis, do you think it would have had a longer lifespan?
I think it might
like
have.
Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Or do you think it would have still not died a death, but like I think partially Power Rangers lasted because of brute force.
Yeah, no, it did.
Because
Yeah.
it was cheap and they had the
cheap.
episodes and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
It was flashy though. It was flashy.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they just used the male heroes as their basis, do you think it could have lasted as long as a franchise?
I think it could have, because then like kind of like with Power Rangers, then you kind of can write to the suits you're using, not the suits you're using, but you know, like the thing you're using.
Yeah.
But how they did it just doesn't make any logical sense. Like they could easily start with like the more to the time version of whatever Metal Hero at the time, what was in 1994, and then went from there rather than. But then Metal Hero only went up to 1998. So.
Well, yeah, but that's longer than this series, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah. So it's like they could have done it that way, but I don't think they know.
Yeah. If there was a VR Troopers movie. Oh, okay. If they did a revival or if they did a movie, would you be like, I'm up for that? Or would you be like, would they have to do kind of not boot necessarily, but refresh, reimagine everything?
I think we're reimagining everything. But I also feel like this is one of those shows that like, because it doesn't have much, it didn't have that much of a stain on like, not stain, but you know, like an impact on pop culture and stuff. You could reboot this and make it kind of like, not adult oriented, but you know, more edgier, if that makes sense.
If the reboot started, right, and you had a bunch of kids, not a bunch of kids, but whoever it is, yeah? And when they get to the computer, they switch on, and it's Ryan Steele inside the computer now.
Yeah. Yeah,
and he's like
that.
Thank goodness you guys found me. Now he's trapped in the computer and then whatever, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, then it's like, oh, continuation. All right, okay.
Yeah, like, okay, cool. That's pretty cool. Like they did with, do you remember the show Reboot?
The 3D animated.
Yeah.
But not quite, because I was watching that and at the time it was just like, you're trying too hard because technology's not there for you.
No. But
yeah,
so
I remember that.
They did a continuation of that recently.
All right.
Yeah, I think recently. This might be like 2016 or whatever on Netflix.
Yeah.
And like it starts like, okay, that's cool. It's continuing from something that I didn't know people knew about. But then it gets kind of terrible. But yeah, I mean, it's like they could do that with this, but make it more serious. Like,
okay. Did you watch Knight Rider back in the day?
Yes.
Did you watch Knight Rider 2000?
Yes.
Oh, no. I think I'm wrong there. Knight Rider 2000 was the TV movie.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, with the red car. Yeah.
And then there was Knight Rider. What's the team? What was it? I want to say Knight Rider Knights, but that's not right.
No, but I know what you mean. Oh. And it came out not that long ago. It's about.
Yeah. And then they did Knight Rider 2013, I think it was, where it was Michael Knight's son, but not.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, he sees the person who was like, he's got Kit and everything. And you don't know, by the way, if it's 100% a reboot or refresh or anything like that. And then David Hasselhoff makes his appearance as Michael Knight at the end. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay. Okay.
Oh, I see what you did there. Oh.
Even though he's only going to be in some of the episodes. All right, fair enough.
Yeah. That was good. Yeah. Yeah, they could do something kind of like that. I'll be all right with it. Well, we'll see.
Well, if they do VR Troopers, I hope they do fight VR related things, not like or VR hard light constructs or whatever they're gonna do. Not demons and mystic entities from that they make any sense in the VR world. Like what?
What they could have done though, even now think about it now, right? Because I think this might be how the way they're going about it in the Power Rangers comics, right? The new ones. That things from the VR world are seeping into the real world, then that could kind of make sense why.
Yeah. But why would you look like unless you're going to a VR world that's like what they could do, like you're saying, right? If they have the VR specific, like the holodeck, where certain things are like you could choose the timelines or whatever it is,
yeah.
But then they interact and like they seep into the real world, from their specific parts of whatever VR simulation they had.
Yeah.
You know, like Danger and Danger when she gained her own sentence.
Yeah.
You could have that, like, and then they can look like different things, and then you're like, oh yeah, okay, it makes sense. But then you have to show them being in those worlds first.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you might have to do a 5 as far as there's like 20-minute episodes, right? But you might have to do a 5-part first.
Yeah, to sort of explain the world and stuff, and then
yeah, and then you've got your whole bunch of different types of enemies that come and attack, and then or if it's nowadays, you could just do 2-part.
Yeah.
First, you know, episode 1 and 2, like, and it usually about 45 minutes long, right?
Yeah, and then
yeah,
should do that.
Then you can explain everything. You know, that 90-minute movie at the beginning.
Yeah, I like to see that.
But they would have to, like you say, aim for a more mature audience than Power Rangers, at least.
Yeah.
You want to say the teen?
The teen, yeah. And then you can have, not blood, but, you know, like more serious, like, topics in it rather than just, my dad's missing. Yeah, you know.
Yep. Did you ever watch Will Warriors? Jason Will Warriors?
Of course I did.
Where his dad was also missing.
Yeah. Did you ever find his
dad? And then dad turns out to be a plant man.
Yeah. Yeah. The plant dad. Yeah, I remember that.
And Saul Boss. Oh, yeah. But it was just like, like you're saying, you know, sometimes you watch these. That's the hook. You watch the episode, the series 4, to conclude whatever the initial storyline is, and sometimes they don't even do that.
Yeah.
At least Ryan still got to find his dad, because Jace did not.
Yeah, Jace did not, and his dad's probably still out there somewhere being a plant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Poor guy. He didn't stand a chance. Ugh.
Yeah. I don't know about VR Troopers myself, but do you think if they do a reboot, will they keep the theme song, or do you think they'll take the sample it and then kind of turn it into a rock version or whatever
They'll probably take one bit of it, you know, like, because now, you know, like shows nowadays, like, especially like adult or sort of shows, they don't really have like intros or anything like that. It's like one little thing happens, then it goes into the show. They play something like that, like we are, and then go into the show, like. Oh,
the title card, VR Troopers. So
you're like,
just like Invincible, where they do whatever they say, and then somehow instead of saying the word, the title card pops up. And it's a bit weird sometimes, because like the title card decided, no, I'm going to cut you off, mate.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that was that clever? Yeah, I mean, like, oh.
Which, by the way, should have been the end of Shazam Thunder of a Fury of the Gods, because. But that time they didn't use it.
No. All right. Could have, it would have been the best way. Like, shit, and then.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good film. But VR, great.
So you haven't taken any photos with the VR Troopers?
No, because apparently none of them. I think only recently the guy who plays Ryan does like conventions.
Oh yeah, only recently.
Yeah, because the girl who played Kaitlin, she retired from action and all that stuff because of like. Lots of hate she was getting from a character she played in some show, so she retired from that. And then the guy who played JB, he left acting and he became a software. He
went full method. You're saying, right? Because that's what his character was doing in the show.
And it was a well-known game company. I heard. I was like, oh snap, he's that. I forgot it was, but he.
All right, okay, fair enough.
Like, good on him, man. Good on him.
Yeah. All right. So, but you're saying not like, I mean, because you actually did pay to get pictures with the VR with the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
If there was a convention of the VR, you're already saying that. I don't think so.
Like, no. Actually, maybe just for like the lols. Like, okay. Yeah.
Well, no. If you're there already, say you already.
Yeah,
paid
I was there
to
already.
Be there.
Yeah. And then I walked past, and the guy had no one. Like, one of them had no one at their booth, and we're like, you know what? Here's a tenner. I'll get a picture of you.
But it's not. Now, depending, sometimes not even that, because tennis. Sometimes you're like, tennis fine. Tennis, right? But sometimes it's not.
Nah, I wouldn't pay.
Sometimes
more
like £30, you're like, no wonder why you got no one on your feet.
Yeah, like I wouldn't pay more than £30 to get. Like, I wouldn't pay more than £20 to get a picture of any of these guys. Not being bad or anything. It's like, but
see, here's the thing. Sometimes it's just a signature. It's not even like. It's not even a picture of them.
Not a picture. No. So I wouldn't do that.
Sometimes it's a picture they've already printed out that they're going to sign and just
give it to you. Like, oh, okay.
Oh, by the way, randomly, and we'll wrap up after this, right?
Yeah.
Did you hear? You know, like how carny some people are in wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Did you hear the what Vincent used to do?
What? No, wait. It sounds like kind of familiar, but no. Tell me.
So Virgil slash Vincent
Yeah.
used to,
RP.
when you go to the convention, people, you got your table, and he goes, yeah, brother, what's your name? Like as though he's going to chat to them, right?
Yeah.
And then they tell you their name, yeah, and he goes, yeah, and then he signs his name on the picture, and he goes, oh yeah, that'll be whatever $20 or whatever it is, and you're like,
Huh?
okay. And the
Agree.
thing is, he does an interview, and he kind of jokingly double downs on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how you got to do. That's the hustle, man. You got to respect the hustle. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I mean, look. So he signed the guy's name for him. It's like what, £2 to print, like batch prints, yeah, and signing, isn't it? You know, and the guy doesn't take it. He's only lost a little bit of money.
Yeah.
You know, pennies for him.
That's wow.
Yeah. But he could have made 20 or whatever it was. So you got to think, for him the upside.
Like you said, man, you can't really knock that hustle. He found a weird thing that works for him, I guess.
Well, sometimes it works. Sometimes it was one time. It was one PW, right? Yeah. He was queuing up for Jerry Lynn to sign something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get Jerry Lynn to sign my thing, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Some guy so Jerry Lynn was doing the signing, and then the guy was like, "Oh yeah," I think he asked him how much after he signed.
Yeah.
And then Jerry Lynn said something, and I can't remember the cost. And the guy was like, "Oh no thanks." But
why would you?
You find out the price beforehand. But sometimes you kind of like you're really queued, and at a point, some people just give it up and go, "Oh, fine."
Yeah, that's so weird.
Because you waited an hour or half an hour, whatever let's just say 20 minutes. It's not that bad, right? But let's just say you wait half an hour, an hour to get to the front of the queue, and then the person says it's this X amount. And in wrestling shows and stuff like that, they sometimes have a table, but they don't have the prices because they're just coming back from whereas in the conventions where they have the price because these things are professionally done.
Yeah.
You could be like, nah, I don't. I ain't paying that.
Bad, man. I couldn't. I'd be one of the people in that position. I'll just pay, like, you ready to sign it. I'll feel bad about getting to do it. Yeah. So I'm like, oh no.
But you would have got done by the Vincent hustle.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. But I probably guarantee I probably would get like done it. That's why any sort of things, I walk around with headphones on so people don't with headphones on, but they're off. So then you can blank out when people try that stuff for you because you're like, oh no, listen to this. That's my way around it.
Oh, that randomly reminds me of something else, right?
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with anything other than what you said, right?
Yeah.
There was a footage. I don't know if it was set up or not, right? Because it looked like, where you got a camera on the inside of the house.
Yeah.
And the guy's like looking at the camera, the black guy, he's like looking at the camera, I'm going to get... the person's knocking on the door, and you can only see his reaction. And I can't remember what it was. I think it might have been Jehovah's Witness or Christian, whatever it was, and he's like... He used to do the verbal footage like he can't speak. The death sounds.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I mean, can't make it sound right because I'm going to method it right.
Yeah.
But then he does kind of the hand, some funny hand signals as well.
Yeah.
And the lady's like, "Oh, you're deaf? Oh, sorry, man. Sorry to disturb you." And he's like, "It's all right, man." And he closes the door. And she's like, "What the?"
Yeah, that's pretty stuff. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Though, if that happened in real life, I want to say sometimes people just knock on the door, ring back, or either that, or they just go,
like,
F that, and then but because some people take it well.
Some.
But if you're trying to, if you're trying to spread your message, sometimes you just try again.
Yeah. You're like, no, the message needs to be spread. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, okay. We got these random tangents at the end of it. Wrapping it back up, right?
Yeah, wrapping it back up.
So that concludes our episode of VR Troopers, even though we talked about other
things, yeah.
Other random things as well.
VR Troopers, but
I'm the additional characters in VR Troopers who are not filming American footage, so they always have to find an Oriental, which I am because I'm fitting perfectly in that footage.
Yeah.
CY Chung.
And I am the guy who was hired for diversity, Carl Charles. And thank you for listening to us reminisce about the show VR Troopers, also known as Metal Hero in Hop On. And do you guys remember ever watching this show, or was this brand new to you? You're like, oh wait, what, this was a thing? Yeah, well, let us know if you have in the comment section down below. And while you're there, yes.
No, I was going to say one more thing. Do you think, like in Power Rangers, where they filmed the American footage, then rebroadcast it back in Japan? you think they did the same here, where they got VR troopers? No, you
No.
you don't think they had the nerve?
No, I don't think they have the nerve to do that. They're like, this is.
Was that as popular enough, right? To double dip,
Yeah, like, no.
triple dip at this point.
Nah, they probably like, you know what? We know this is terrible. We don't like
Oh,
show the
yeah.
rest of the world that we're terrible. So it's just like,
Yeah. Back from the original place we used to fish from, we can't go back there.
No, because then they'll mock us. Like, yeah, that's true.
Sorry, but I interrupted you. I didn't mean to.
I was just yeah, and if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe while you're here. Click the like button, it'd be great. And if you're listening to this in the audio realm, so if you're hearing us through your ears but not seeing us through your eyes, all of our social media handles are in the description bar, and YouTube is all up the top, so check that out. Also, if you are interested in VR Troopers, they will be appearing in Power Rangers Prime. That's going on now by Boom Studios. And
the comics. I was like, oh,
you know,
I thought you were going to say the series. I was like, but both of the series no longer.
Yeah, no. And there is going to be a Power Rangers / VR Troopers free comic book day comic, if I'm correct, which will be out in May. So yeah, check that out if you can. Yeah, you know, give Ryan Steele a shout. You know.
Yeah. See if he helps him find his dad or something like that.
Yeah, or lose his dad. Maybe he's annoyed with him now. He's like, you know, I need to get rid of this guy. Yeah, so check that out. Also, this is random as well. If you were looking for something else from that sort of era, which is not Big Bad Beetleborgs, but something also that's meant to be set in the VR world.
Oh, right.
Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
Yes.
Check that out.
Yes.
Or
I was
SSS for short. Ooh.
I kind of when you mentioned it, I was like, yeah. But there's another one as well. Teenage whatever from Beverly Hills. Teenage Aliens from Beverly Hills.
Oh yeah. I thought about that. Yeah, that one.
Like Superhuman Samurai Squad is actually meant to be pretty good though.
Yeah, it was alright. I remember.
Okay. Did you watch the? Did I get the title right? Teenage Aliens from Beverly Hills or whatever?
No, I did watch it, but I can't remember. I remember that name. Like, I remember this. I don't think that went well.
Yeah,
like most things.
But those were pure American programs. They tried to do an original IP, I believe.
Yeah, because Superhero Samurai Cyber Squad is actually taken from a Japanese show as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought
Gridman the Hyper Agent. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everyone tried to cash in on.
Yeah, of course. They saw Power Rangers and like, yeah, we could probably do the same as that thing. Lightning in the bottle, man. Lightning in the bottle. Yeah, and the other Sabon property, Mask Rider, or what's that? What's the Japanese one called again? Kamen Rider?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
No.
And yeah, so thank you guys for listening to us, and thank you for taking a trip with us around the VR multiverse. Oh god. See you guys later. Bye.